You enjoy the lighting? I have two. I have two lights on and the window open. This is my lighting, and these are my wings. I think like most people my age, I played a lot of video games growing up. I don't know if there's a particular story to share because I mean, when you've been doing it for so long, I mean, I'm 22, and when you've been playing video games that long, obviously there's a lot of different stories you could go off of. Like, I guess I'll just try and do as many small ones as I can. That seems kind of reasonable. Um, well, let's see. My friends and I used to be so big in the Super Smash Bros. Melee that we actually had tournaments and we actually each had our own main characters, and none of us were allowed to share the same main character. If you did, you had to contest the other person who had that already as their main, and then you had to beat them like the best 2 out of 3 or whatever, and then you could declare that as your main. So there was that. And we were pretty big into doing that for a while. Nobody contested me because I used fucking Link, and Link's low ass tier. And eventually everybody became fucking wicked good, and fuck those guys. I don't fucking need them. So there's that. Another thing is because I grew, I was so heavily into video games. Now I cosplay like characters from video games, and actually the convention that I'm going to, I'm finally cosplaying my childhood hero, which is Cloud Strife. So I guess there's that. I love video games so much that my childhood hero was Cloud Strife. And actually, I guess that is a good story. Let's do it, guys. We found the story route that we're taking. Um, Actually, I remember in class one day, our teacher said to write about your childhood hero and why your childhood hero. She asked us to write about our hero and why that person was our hero. Well, everybody was going around the room saying Michael Jordan, blah 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 blah. I said Cloud Strife, and she's like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Oh, he's a video game character." And she's like, "You can't have a video game character as your hero." I was like, "But why not?" I was like, "There's nobody else to look up to." It was like, I don't have why do I have to look up to somebody real? I was like, what does it matter? And so after I basically told her that, I was like, I don't really understand. I was like, there's nobody. She's like, there's nobody. Your father. I was like, my dad's not around, and I was like, I live with my grandparents. I was like, and they're not my heroes or anything like that. I was like, there's nobody else. I was like, there's nobody else to look up to. I was like, there's nobody else like me or whatever. And eventually, after I told her how pointless I thought it was that I had to look up to somebody real, she let me do my report on Cloud Strife. So there's that. Another thing is, like, yeah. So I mean, there's that. I still play video games now, and there's not really. It's weird because this is kind of like the zoo story initially. There's not really anything major I can say about playing video games because there's so many things that have happened, and that's that. I will say the first video game console that I recall owning was a Sega Genesis, and it was stolen by a family friend, including all my games, and then we caught her, and yet I still wasn't allowed to have it back, and my brother and I were fucking pissed. So there's that. Let's end on that.